So now we want to build the hallway, is what I call it, and I'm going to call this level 1-4. So let's go to workspace and say insert object, add a folder, and let's call this folder level 1_4. And then in here is where I'm going to put the parts. So I can insert object on the folder, and I can insert, I guess, let's go to model and go to part, and we're going to add a wedge. Okay, so now that we have this wedge, we want to scale it to make it bigger. Yeah, something like that. And then we want it to go diagonal, so we're going to need to rotate him on the green axis that way at about 45 degrees, right? So what you can do when you're rotating and you're scaling is you can check this rotate like, I don't know, option, and if you do that, then the block can only rotate at 45-degree angles, right? And you could change this to be 5-degree increments or whatever, however many degrees you want it to rotate at. And so I want to rotate at 45-degree angles, or yeah, increments, and so I'm going to set it to 45. You can also do the same thing with move, so that it moves a certain amount of studs, right? I usually don't like to use that, but in this case it helps, so I can do that, right? And now I know this is definitely 45 degrees, and then I can go ahead and move it into the right location that I want. Is that the way that I want it set this up? Oh, let's see. No, this is actually not the way I want to set it up. The way that I want to do this, I'm pressing Command Z to go back in time, and I'm actually going to rotate it sideways. So I'm going to rotate, and I'm going to rotate on the blue axis, like so, like that. Okay, so it's laying sideways. And then I'm going to move him into the right location, which is right about there and right about here. You do it like that. Of course, when you're doing yours, you want to make it exact as possible. And you know, it actually might help if you did select the move studs, right? And then we can go ahead and scale it, make it kind of long, make it taller, like a big old wall. And also we want to extend its length there. And then I'm going to move him so that he is, so let's uncheck the move and get him right in the right location we want. And so, whoa, that does not look good. So you'll see how, like, if I'm over from looking at it from this angle, it looks like it's not placed correctly. But then if I come here, I could see that it actually is placed correctly. And I think what another issue is that it's not sitting on the base plate. So I want to make sure it's sitting on the base plate there. Okay, so that looks good. And then, of course, you can make this as long as you want, but I'm going to make it about this length. And then we want to put the other side looking this way, right? So for that, I'm going to create another square, or I'm sorry, a wedge. And then I'm going to also rotate it on the blue axis. I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm going to rotate it on the blue. Maybe the red. No. Ooh, first let me scale it to get it bigger, and then maybe it's a little bit become more obvious on what I want to do with it. So, yeah, first I want to rotate it on the blue, go that way, and then I want to rotate it on the red. Do I want to rotate it on the red? I want it to look like that. Okay, so I'm not sure what kind of transformation I did there, but let me go ahead now and put it in the right spot. So there we go. And then I'm going to move it so it's against the red here. I'm going to uncheck move so I can get as exact as I want. That looks pretty good. And then I'm going to move it this way. And then I'm going to scale it up. So I'm going to scale it to here and to here. Okay. And this gets a little bit tricky because when they get here, there needs to be a little bit of space from here to here because we're going to have another red panel sitting on the outside of this red block. So as they're walking through, they need a little bit of room to get to the next section here. So you got to be aware of that, or else you're going to be sitting here making adjustments for quite a bit of time. And I'm going to stretch it out a little bit more. Another thing to consider as you're building this portion of the obby is that some people have avatars that are quite wide, right? And for them, it might be impossible to get through this. So the way that I like to set it up is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So somewhere between 7 and 9 studs is a good number, right? And yeah, there we go. So what do we do next is we take this one that we made and we Command D, duplicate it. I'm going to turn off collisions so it doesn't stack on top of each other. And I'm going to duplicate that guy. I'm going to move him this way. And then I'm going to rotate him on the blue axis this way, all the way around. And then I'm going to move him with collisions on back so he is sitting there, right? And so if we have that, then the rest of this is kind of easy because we just need to keep duplicating. So for instance, I could take this guy, I can turn off collisions, I could duplicate, and then I can move him and rotate him the exact same way that I did with this one here, right? So I'm going to take this guy, I'm going to rotate him on the red axis. No, not on the red axis. Yeah, so this way, and then on the green axis that way. Is that right? No, that's not right. I think I gotta rotate him on the blue axis. Yeah, so sometimes this gets kind of confusing, and then rotate him on the red. Yeah, that looks good. And then I'm gonna move him into place. So yeah, sometimes it might get a little bit tricky, and it might seem like you're trying to take an IQ test, but keep at it and eventually you'll get in the right spot. If you want to make sure that this space is the same as this space, what I do is I count the studs from here to here, and then I can count the studs from here to here, right? So I'll let you go ahead and do that. And it looks like from here you have all the tools you need to finish this portion. And yeah, so what the character is going to need to do is walk this way, this way, this way, and then back out this way. Okay, or you can also make it 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3, and then he ends here. Okay, so yeah, go ahead and do that. And another thing that I did to make it look a little bit better with regard to the color is to match the rest of this. And so what I did is I turned the brick color to bright red. I turned the material to glass, I believe. No, I didn't do glass. Let's see, what did I do? Let's turn it back to brick. Let me go ahead and check on the master program so I could see what I did with those walls. Okay, so I did material force field. So material force field. Whoa, not that one. This one here. Material force field. And I got this effect. Right. Right. So why don't you go ahead and do that, and I'll see you on the other side.